I hope you people are doing great. And today, the Parveen ma'am again with you. And here today, I'm going to discuss this editorial. It's basically from the Hindu analysis. It's basically I've taken the two newspaper, the Indian Express and the Hindu. Here the relevant articles are Times, their word, mission without mandate. The third editorial we have as America tips. Joint polls constitutional says ex-CGI questions sweeping powers to EC in the bill. These were the editorials, and the ultimate most important is the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra resumes after 5 years. It's very important from the viewpoint of a foreign relation. If we talk about the India and China relation, because basically it's a pilgrimage uh, related thing that going to boost the tourist sector as well as could be a chance for our nation to develop a friendly environment with the other country named China. So quickly, we're going to jump into this editorial. Here is given the smarter, faster, stronger. How AI, that is artificial intelligence, is transforming the manufacturing landscapes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the editorial for you people so that those who feel hesitant in reading, just be with me. I am very sure that you will going to love the reading all these things, especially the editorial part. So here we begin. Step inside a modern factory and you might find something quietly extraordinary. Machines no longer wait to fail, they signal in advance. Robots don't just repeat tasks, they adapt and respond. And decisions once made on instinct were driven the real-time data. This is the new phase of manufacturing where artificial intelligence is not just an upgrade but a fundamental shift in how things are made, moved, and managed. So basically, it's talking about the AI advancement in the manufacturing sector. The next para we have across India, from long established facilities to newly built plants, AI is being integrated into every layer of production. It's helping manufacture in increasing output, reducing waste, adapt to shift demands, and even design more intelligently. Backed by national policy and risk enterprise ambition, India's factories are becoming more agile, more precise, and more globally competitive. If we talk about the data which is given here, is that the market is projected to grow from $4.1 billion in 2024 to $5.8 billion in 2025 and is expected to surpass $25 billion by 2029. And this report is given by the business research company. It's very good, important data. We can quote it in our answer, especially the GS answer. We can quote this data if you find any question relevant to that, or you in the AC as well. You can use it. Next, here a survey has been conducted and it's found that 44% of manufacturing leaders were cautious about scaling generative AI. Here in India, adoption is accelerating. Team leads data shows AI use across industries. It stood at 48% of financial year 2024, with the manufacturing alone rising from 8% to 22% in just 1 year. This is supported by policy initiatives like the Government of India 10,372 crore AI mission, which is investigated in infrastructure, talent, and indigenous models. Intelligence across floor. Here is given AI is powering improvements across every layer of the factory. On the shop floor, predictive maintenances use sensor data to anticipate equipment failures, reducing downtime by up to 30%. According to McKinsey, AI vision systems identify micro-level defects in real time, and in this way, it's improving quality assurance. Cobots collaborative robots Cobots is nothing, it's a collaborative robots guided by AI support workers in physically demanding or repetitive tasks. These machines respond to human cues, enabling safer, more efficient man-made collaborations. Today, CPCL generates about 1 TB of data daily. AI-powered CCTVs are helping ensure SOPs compliance while machine learning support predictive maintenance and smart procurement. Digital twins and centralized safety monitoring are our focus to steady transform our operations. And this is quoted by H. Shankar, Managing Director, Chennai Petroleum Corporation Limited. Here it's talking about the digital backbone. AI draws a strength from the wider digital ecosystem that enables speed, scale, and integration. Now it's talking about the cloud platform provides a scale to train models, run digital twins, and coordinate cross-site operations. More than efficiencies, AI creates value at two levels. First, through operational hygiene, sorry. Then we have predictive maintenance, automated inspections, and real-time stock tracking are fast becoming industrial norms. These improvements lower cost and improve compliance, but are no longer enough to differentiate. We are now exploring AI driven process optimization to improve yields and reduce energy use, and deploying drones for safer inspection and planning AI driven logistics. What's the looking ahead? Here we can say as way forward. Challenges persist: integration cost, talent shortages, and concern over data governance and model transparency are showing broader adoption, or I can say are slowing the broader adoption. Here, a 2024 Reuters IPS surveys found that 44% of manufacturing leaders remain cautious about scaling generative AI due to concern around hallucinations and explainability. Still, the direction is clear. AI will be central to India's ambitions of becoming 55 trillion economy. With the right mix of the strategy, skills, Indian manufacturers are well positioned to lead the next wave of global industrial transformation. So here in this editorial was given that AI adoption in manufacturing sector is about 44%, where the leaders are being cautious about scaling the generative AI, while 48% in India have adopted AI, surpassing the global average, which is 36%. Here is the data that we have already read about it, that 2024 $4.1 billion dollar, then it's expected to increase by $23 billion by 2030. Impact of manufacturing, how AI is impacting on manufacturing. So here AI is enhancing productivity by automatic tasks, reducing fatigue related errors, improving decision making with real time data. Now support predictive maintenance. AI is also supporting in the sense of predictive maintenance, then it optimizes the supply chain and also enables the manufacturing system IBA's AI solutions. And we talk about the economic and employment implications. Here, it could create 55 million economic opportunities but may displace jobs. So, here they have the critical angle if we talk about the positive and the negative consequences of the AI's impact in the manufacturing sectors, where on the one hand it's giving the positive effect, and on the other hand it have the probability that it would uh, be the less productive for the other section, for especially for the generation of the job. It may be in the case that the jobs many of person will able to lose their job. Then there is 44% of the leaders hesitant due to concern over the workforce impact and integration challenges. If we talk about the Indian strategic positions, how the Indian strategies is aligns with India's ambitions to become manufacturing hub, and it focus on innovation. So it's a positive sign if we talk about in relation with the India's strategic position. Next we have the other editorial, which is Our Times, Their Words. Here is nothing but the author Madhu Bhavaraju. It's trying to say that Indians are not boomers, millennials, or Gen Z. We must find out our language to describe ourselves at different moments and stages, because here the the author or the writer of this editorial having the problem in calling as the Western historic as per the Western's name, because the boomers, millennials, and Gen Zs, these names were based on the Western historical events, whereas Indian generation is divided, should be divided as per the editor or as per the writer Madhuji. He wanted to divide India, and he expressly mentioned in the editorial India should be divided in this generations. The first generation should be from 1940s to 1960, and the next, and in this generation, the type of upbringing or the people were there, they termed as jigar, and it's not only the I think it's, as per the tutorial, it's mentioned as necessity there. For more details, we're going to read this editorial from this section. Has given that the first generation, the defining traits are scarcity mindset, fragility, and nation building. This is a generation of independence and partition. So obviously 1940s to 1916 was generation of the partition of handmade goods, ration lines, and radios. They witnessed wars for food shortages and slow churn of the socialist economy. The icons were the J.R.D. Tata and M.S. Subbalakshmi. They placed immense value on institutions, LIC, HMT. Basically, here the writer wants to elaborate all those the generation, the youth of generation, the first generation that is tracing from 1940s to 1960s. Here they say that the first generation, which were from 1940s to 1960s, where they taught us jugaad not as a hack but as a necessity. Then the middle generation from 1960 to 1975, her in this generation were very aspirational, but at the same time they were very restrained. They grew up waiting for the milk, gas cylinders, a scooter, jobs, and opportunities. They were used to delayed gratification, and their dream often went unfulfilled. Here icons can be reached from Amitabh Bachchan to Rakesh Sharma, brands, Nirma, and Bata. So these were not so important, but yeah, we can say that this generation, the middle generation that is from that were from 1960s to 1975, were the generation that taught us to study hard so that we could escape the system they were stuck in. So here we can highlight this. Just a sec. Okay, we can highlight the middle section, and we can highlight the last part. Here also we can the first generation, fragility, national building, and here they taught us a jugaad. The post-liberalization generations is tracing from a dual identity with one foot in the old India and one in the new. Cable TV, Cola War, Sachin Tendulkar and Shah Rukh Khan. This was a generation show open Indian up, post PCs and dial-up internet. Travel behavior slowly changed to budget airlines and international vacations. Then comes the tech generation that's we can trace from 1990s to 2010. Here, the generations embodies the Americanized digital native with a less baggage and more choices. Here, this generation of smartphone, Instagram, and global exposure. Here we can say they are the first, India's first truly digital consumer, but also the most distracted one. Generation which is truly traced from the 1990s to 2010. Then comes the Indian Gen Z, that is after 2010. Here the generation is defining the traits on native internet influency and cultural confidence. They don't just consume the content, they create it. They expect brands to play by their rules. They will shape our future of creator founded direct to consumer first brand. Here, policymakers designing pension plans or digital literacy schemes need to understand the generational mindset shaped by tough times, not purely income brackets. EdTech companies need to speak to parents or grandparents who fear technology and children who are digital natives. Consumer brands must evolve, read rapidly to catch up the internet native customer who will soon become primary decision makers with big spending capacity. So here the end is given that we have lived many lives in a single lifetime. We deserve to define those lives on our own terms and not borrowed ones. Very beautiful article is given. So here the summarized. Next, We're going to read this mission without a mandate. Here, India's AI ambitions need to be partisan consensus. Parliament must be important. Here, the basically it's the Ruchi Gupta editor says that it's she's talking about the criticism behind this AI ambitions. Here, she says talk about the lack of national strategy. Then there is the deficits, which could be seen as a structural deficit, that the research and development piece is shallow, where the universities are underrepresented in the global AI rankings, and also there is a limited AI specialized PhDs. So these are the basically with a concern and a criticism that's given in this editorial. Once you can go through this, and also she says that there is a need, as we can read in the headline, that parliament must be important. So here the private sector focused is she wanted to shift the focus from the private sector to the foundational uh, research. Here the need for the parliamentary involvement. Cabinet endorsed national in artificial intelligence to parliament, plus a strategy presented to Parliament for accountability. So here she basically talked about how we can stop stop the AI's ambitions to be partisan consensus. Next article we have is, as America sleeps, the US is undermining what made it great. India will suffer short-term pain. It has also opportunities. Here we can read. If I am reading, just note that how beautifully the writer of this editorial it's started, and it's the flow you got to know after reading this article. So just stay tuned and just read with me if you want, or just pause the video and read it on your own. So here, an autoimmune disease occurs when your body's immune system treats its own healthy tissues as invaders and attacks them. America's policy currently targeting its three powerful muscles. Here, the editor, Manish Sabharwal, how beautifully he started writing, one definition of autoimmune diseases, and how he interlinks with American policies, and how he linked that it's, if it says in the definition that autoimmune disease, it's the one who attacks and invades their own healthy tissues, and the same way he can relate the American policies. So one can use this method in our essay writing. We can begin in this way in the essay writing, or we can write in the body of the essay. So this can be used in a multiple ways. So here, American policy currently targeting is three powerful muscles. He mentioned universities, companies, and immigrations. Create short-term pain for India in remittances, student enrollment, manufacturing jobs, foreign investment, and exports. While these attacks feel like a passing shower, it's too early to conclude they are the climate change of Pax American ending. Regardless of how politics unfold in America, India must seize the long-term economic opportunities by making itself stronger through a 180-day plan for deregulation of the employers, decentralization of power, and deepening human capital. Here, the editor wants to highlight that although it's a crisis, although it's like kind of a pain, but it's a kind of short-term pain. It's not going to be a long-term involvement. So basically, we can see that here the article discusses the decline of US global dominance and the opportunities that's present for India, particularly in science, technology, and manufacturing. So here the key points are: US faces challenges like trade wars, restrictive immigration policies, and impacting its economy. India faces short-term challenges such as reduced student enrollment in US universities. Let's suppose from 2 lakh to 1 lakh annually, but has long-term opportunities due to its young population, average age is 27, and skilled workforce. Here, the article emphasizes the need for investment in basic science research, IT, pharmaceuticals, and manufacturing to capitalize these opportunities. So, there is a data. Recent data shows that India's GDP is 4.2 uh, trillion, with a projected growth rate of 6.3% to 6.8% 2025 to 26, making it the world fastest growing major economy. Okay, so here AI is expected to contribute $5 billion. Okay, and to the economy by the 2025, and with 96% of Indian professionals using AI tools, and report says by the World Economic Forum. Here, as for the Talent 500, what the 2025 internet budget focuses on AI startups and digital infrastructure. So basically, here we can say that there is a comprehensive way. We can say that it's kind of a criticism as well as given the recommendation in this article. Criticism in the says that US is declining, and what's its impact on India, and what's the India's potential, and what is about the historical context. So here we can write down in the following way that key criticism is US decline. Just now we talk about it, that economic policies like trade wars or restriction on immigrations have undermined US dominance, and thereby reducing innovation and talent inflow. Because the economic policies, what are the economic policies that is undermining the US dominance, is the trade wars, then the immigration restriction on immigration, that's the thing. And thereby, and due to this, as a result, there is a um, reducing innovation as well as talent inflow, and there is also a decrease in the talent inflow because they restricted the immigration, right? So next is talking about the impact on India. So here the short-term challenges are there, like economic downturns, and obviously if the immigration is restricted, then it would reduce education opportunities for Indian students abroad. And but the other hand, its long-term opportunities arises from demographic advantages and technological potential. If we talk about we have the just now we have talked that India has the advantages in the demographic sense. If we talk about have like around the young population is average is 27, have the long term opportunities, and it's a kind of favoring the demographic. So here if we talk about the impact on India, it's not going too much longer. And if there are some short term challenges is here, India's have some potential in the sense that it has a strength like resilient immigrant community and the need for investment in research and development, IT, and manufacturing to become a global leader. It's kind of the India's potential has seen in the many reports and indexes. So we talk about the historical context. This editorial says that compares India's current positions to the US post, especially US after World War II, its rise, emphasizing the role of education and innovations. So here the recommendations are like to increase the government funding for research and aligning industrial policies to leverage global shift. So here the editor Manish Sabarwala in this article wants to recommend the government to increase the funding, especially in the research, and aligning it with the industrial policies to leverage the global shift. So here we can say that in the sense it wants to ensure sustained government funding for AI and the technology as well. So basically this article covers this. The next article we have joint polls constitutional says ex CGI question sweeping powers to in bill, that is election commission in the bill. It's a beautiful article. It's talking about the one nation one election and the way other important